22 million black victims of Americanism are waking up, and they're gaining a new political consciousness, becoming politically mature. And as they develop this political maturity, they're able to see the recent trends in these political elections. Any minority that has a block of votes that stick together is in a strategic position. Either way you go, that's who gets it. You're in a position to determine who go to the White House and who stay in the doghouse. You're the one who has that power. You and I have never seen democracy. All we've seen is hypocrisy. When we open our eyes today and look around America, we see America not through the eyes of someone who has enjoyed the fruits of Americanism. We see America through the eyes of someone who has been the victim of Americanism. We don't see any American dream. We've experienced only the American nightmare. We haven't benefited from America's democracy. We've only suffered from America's hypocrisy. And the generation that's coming up now can see it and are not afraid to say it. 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 And are not afraid to say it.
And are not afraid to say it. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You're tuned into Black Westchester Presents the People Before Politics radio show with your hosts, Damon K. Jones and AJ Woodson. I am AJ Woodson, Black Westchester editor-in-chief. Joined with my partner, Damon Jones, the publisher.
What's up?
Yeah, so today we just going to kick it about a bunch of issues going on. Going to touch upon the Jarrel Garris case a little bit. I know Damon got some stuff that he wanted to talk about. So first off, what you been up to lately, Damon?
Chilling,
first off, happy birthday to my brother whose birthday was
thank you, man.
3 days ago.
Yes, thank you. The big double nickel, man.
Yeah, he just turned the speed limit in New York. Yeah,
it feels good, man. It feels good.
Yes. So you got a lot of love on Facebook and all that, everything. So, that's what's up. So what have you been up to the last couple of days? I know
I've been trying to retire. That's what I've been trying. I've been trying to get this paperwork correct. Thank you. I've been trying to get this paperwork correct with the state. But God willing, on tomorrow I'll be going up there, and hopefully I'll be walking out there as a damn near retired person.
That's what's up. You're gonna do it all your time after you was working all them triple doubles. Now you got all this free time. What you gonna be doing?
Man, I'm still busy, man. I'm trying to get paper, bro.
That's what's up.
I'm trying to get paper.
Word up. So let's kick off the show. I know you had something on your mind you wanted to definitely discuss. We start.
Well, I mean, we could talk about the New Rochelle incident, and then we could roll into that because I think we need to start there.
Right. So for those who don't know, I'm just gonna set it up for those because you always got people watching for the first time and people that didn't know what the situation was. So on July 3rd, an unarmed black man named Jarrel Garris in New Rochelle, New York, allegedly ate a banana and 2 or 3 grapes and didn't pay for it, and the store called the police, and that interaction led to them shooting him. He was immediately paralyzed and brain dead and was on life support for a week and died a week later on January 10th. The New Rochelle Police Department released some edited body cam footage. I mean, they caved into the pressure. I know why they did it, because there was so much flack for not releasing the footage 3 years ago when Kamal Flowers was killed by the New Rochelle police. They didn't release any footage. So they went and released some footage, but the footage ends before he gets shot. You hear him say, You hear Detective Stephen Kahn yell, "Gun!" or "He has a gun," and then there's a shot. Um, the narrative is that he reached for one of the officers' gun. So there's been a number of rallies, protests, um, even a vigil, a march, and the AG's office, who takes over the investigation once there's a murder, once there's a death, excuse me, released more body cam footage, still redacted, but showing the murder, showing the death of Jarrel Garris, and the footage does not line up with the narrative. According to the attorney William Wagstaff, there's over 20 minutes worth of footage, and we still have not seen the whole thing. The family they just buried Jarrell yesterday.
Oh, really?
Yeah, his funeral was at St. Catherine. The church he died, his first church he got shot in front of, the church he was baptized at as a kid. Um,
Okay.
so the homegoing was yesterday, yesterday morning, and the father said, once he gets past that part, he's going to be going full blast on justice for his son, fighting for justice for his son. So
Understandable.
yeah, that's basically where we are. We had a vigil. The Westchester Coalition for Police Reform had a vigil for Jarrell. Um, and Brother Kenneth Chamberlain spoke and spoke at the vigil, and then spoke to the family, because he's been through everything this family is going through, will go through, or can possibly go through. He's been through it all. So and um, he just got the conclusion to the review from the district attorney in the review of his father's case, and
Well,
of his father's case and the Roy Henry case. Um, Go ahead, Damon. Let me jump in there somewhere.
um, I mean, to the family, if you're watching, brothers and sisters out in New Rochelle, I apologize. I couldn't make it that day. But I will be out there at some point of this journey, and I pray and support the family. Nobody. I'm glad Kenny was out there with the family, because Kenny, as we said, has been struggling through this for a long, long time, and I'm really. I really believe that we have to. I told AJ a while back that I've grown tired of putting out press releases over the shooting of unarmed Black men, because it's basically the same narrative, just a different officer and a different person that's killed. And New Rochelle has had numerous. I think at this point it has taken the lead out of all the major cities in Westchester County in questionable police shootings. So, I talked to through text County Legislator Damon Marr, and he was like, "Well, he I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me just go back. We have to make sure that the district attorney, I mean the New York State attorney, does her job, right? We have to make sure that there is full transparency. We have been calling for a state special prosecutor. She can play that role, but she is a political person. So what comes out of her office, we will assume, will be political. We need state legislation that will appoint someone who is independent of all politics. I think that's very important. And we have to start harping on that for our elected officials. I mean, if you look at Westchester County is a primarily Democratic county. And I don't understand why we have a problem with our state legislators and assemblymen to actually push this state special prosecutor. Governor Cuomo appointed the AG the state special prosecutor. He did a executive order, if I believe, right? I don't think it was actually a law. I think it was an executive order. So if he did the executive order for her to be a special prosecutor, then why hasn't she followed through with the recommendations from his other executive order on the best practices of policing? We're still waiting for that. See, these issues, peace and blessings. These issues was supposed to be addressed in that report from the AG's office once all the police departments did their reports, and they were supposed to forward it to the AG's office, and they were supposed to look at all the reports and come up with the best practices. Technically, they didn't even have to look at all the reports. The best practices is a lot of it is common sense in law enforcement, and a lot of it has already been covered through a lot of organizations that have put out statements, and even out of the 21st century policing model that former President Barack Obama had put out. And Blacks in Law Enforcement of America, we put out an extensive report on what needed to be done. So for some reason, we don't want our police officers to act over and beyond professionally and in professional training. And I'm not knocking no police officers, right? I'm not knocking. There's a lot of good cops out there. I mean, my wife is a detective. A lot of good police officers out there. But when we have these incidences, we have to go back to looking at the accountability. My mentor Ron Hampton said, "Ain't nothing wrong with the training. The problem is accountability." American police are some of the best trained police in the world. The problem is accountability of the actions. And let me tell you, if I messed up, if I violated policy, procedure, and training, then you hold me accountable for it. But I haven't done that in my 33 years. Trust me, if I did, they would have brought it up.
They was trying to get you on anything they could get you on.
They would have definitely have brought it up by now, right? So how do we still have these issues? How do we still have these issues, right? And our response all the time, right, is the same thing. We do a couple of prayer vigils, we do a couple of marches, right? We do the same thing. I said that at the anniversary of Kenny's father's death. We come out, we light the candle, Kenny will speak, everybody will speak, and then we'll disperse, right? And the same people that are charged are still there.
Absolutely.
We vote for the same people. How can the police in White Plains call a man the N-word on audio? It takes 6 months for the mayor to respond with apology, and then black people still vote for him as mayor at the next election. We disrespect ourselves. Then you got some Negroes talking about, oh, he come to all the parties. He come to all the Ferris Avenue basketball games. What? It's just that simple to get the black vote to show up at a basketball game? After the police under his command as mayor call another black man, a veteran, a retired correction officer, the N-word? Do we have no respect for ourselves? When are we, what's the old saying? Right? You keep on, what's the old saying? Right? The definition of insanity.
Oh, yeah. You
Keep
doing the
the
same thing over and over.
Something different.
Yep.
We do the same thing. We do the same thing and we expect something different. Marching, rallying, don't do anything
by itself. No. I got Jarrel's cousin Rodney.
Okay.
I'll add him to the screen.
Okay. How you doing, brother?
I'm all right. How you guys doing today?
We're fine, man. Thanks for having you on.
Thanks for inviting me.
Oh, no doubt, no doubt. We're talking about, we catching everybody up. This is our first real conversation on the show about the killing of your cousin of Jarrel. I know, and I announced yesterday. Yesterday was his homegoing, and I know Raymond said once that's over, he's gonna be 10 toes down every day out there fighting for justice once he gets over that.
Yep. So this Tuesday we're gonna continue with the march. You know what I'm saying? And protesting. So we definitely, after the funeral is out the way, we definitely gonna be going full steam ahead. We're trying to get whatever justice we can get.
Talk about. I don't know if you were you one of the family members that met with the AG and saw the actual unedited footage, body cam footage.
Yes,
would you like
I
to
was.
talk about that? Because I've been talking about what y'all saw because I didn't see it yet, but you saw it. So can you talk about that?
Well, it's pretty much basically what you saw. The only parts they didn't show is them doing the resuscitation to him. But other than that, you see pretty much everything, and the cop is clearly, like the lawyer said, trying to get himself out of the charge by saying he had a gun. He had a gun. That's what he kept on screaming to the rest of the cops. He's trying to make his superiors say, "Oh, yeah, he had the gun." But when after he shot him, you can see them put the cuffs on him. I don't think they show that in the video. They put the cuffs on him and they're looking for the gun. They can't find no gun. And he's like, he's got the gun. And the female cop says, "Dude, my gun is right here," and turns her leg to him and shows him the gun in the holster. And a couple of other police pull up to the scene. And as we said, the family's been saying all along, the police were familiar with him. And he's laying on the ground and the police are pulling up. "Oh, is that Jarrel? Is that Jarrel?" The police thought that he got into a shootout with someone else. They didn't even know that another cop shot him. So the cop, they pulled up and they was like, "Who did he get into a shootout with?" And the other cop was like, "I shot him." So
he never called for a 1013. He never called for backup. If they came, they probably didn't. Then he probably never made a call.
I don't know if he called for backup. I think he called for the ambulance or the paramedics.
I think he said shots fired, and he called for whatever term they use for ambulance. I think That's what it was.
And he said shot in the neck in dispatch. I know he said that. I remember him saying that in the video. So, but there's still a lot of things that we still need to see. Like we need to see the video from the store,
Right.
and we need to hear the audio for the phone call from the store owner to the police station,
Exactly.
and we need to hear the dispatcher's conversation with the police they sent out, because we were told by the store owner, myself and Reverend Hollis and another colleague that you're familiar with. We met with the store owner, and he told us that he called them and said that he told the police that something was wrong with the guy, that he didn't seem right. And we need to know if that was expressed to them when they went out to the field to deal with the situation.
Right. Well, they were supposed to call the mental response unit.
The crisis unit, yes.
Right. They were supposed to call if his statement to you was true. Right. They were supposed to call the crisis unit immediately to respond to that.
And we need to find out, like you said, we need to hear the 911 tape, and we need to find out what the dispatcher did with that information. New Rochelle is one of the first municipalities to opt in for that, using that countywide mental crisis.
Patty Dukes is saying it right now. Project Alliance. That's what it's called.
Yeah,
and New Rochelle, they're one of the first cities, and according to what's the sister name that was elected mayor? Was just elected mayor. What's her name? Adira?
Yadira, yeah, she won the Democratic primary. She still has a Republican candidate to go against.
But according to Adira, Project Alliance, New Rochelle Police Department already has 77 calls
from New Rochelle
to New Rochelle this year. So the question is, if he said it, why didn't they do it for this situation? If they did it 77 times before.
Yes, well, that's exactly the question we have. Exactly. And they used the crisis unit like a couple of days later for a white female who had a similar track record. They're familiar with her, and people have called and said that she's saying racial slurs, or she's violent threats to them or whatever. So the calls are of a serious nature, and they deal with her in a manner where she's still alive, and they couldn't deal with my cousin in the manner in which he's still alive.
Right. Exactly.
One of the speakers, I think it was Lisa Burton, one of the speakers at the city council, when you all spoke at the city council meeting, she said days before or after, she was on Webster Avenue, and there was an individual, in the middle of the streets, the cops had to come, and they were able to talk him over to the side on the sidewalk. And she said even after she pulled off, she could see in her rearview mirror, they were still talking to this individual who has kind of like, and there's no reason why that shouldn't have been done with Jarrel. You know what I'm saying? Like, they could have talked to him, and the women, especially the first one, she referred to him by name, and she tried to talk. It was Detective Stephen Kahn, who then came, who was the third officer on the scene, who escalated the situation. He just walked right up on him and put handcuffs on the right arm. You know what I'm saying? And then they're pulling, and from what I see, the other officers grabbing the left arm, and they're pulling back and forth. He comes out his shoe, and I'm trying to figure out, what was he reaching for a gun with? They both had both his arms. What was he reaching for it with? What was he using to reach for a gun with? They had both his arms.
Well, his arms became free, and as I think I spoke to you before about this, it's inconclusive. I think the 3 videos are inconclusive. We need more video footage of the whole situation. So if the neighbors across the street had Ring cameras, or the church has a camera, if we could get that footage, that would be helpful, because the positioning of the police's body cam doesn't allow them to give you a full image. You just see whatever they're pointing at. But we need to see the whole of everything that's going on. We need to see all three police officers and Jarrel. And I think at the time, Jarrel fell over the police officer. He might have been just leaning on the police officer to get up, and that's when he's screaming. He's trying to get her gun, and that's when he shot him. So it's all speculation until we get a better footage, I think.
The one thing I did see in the AG's footage that actually shows the shooting, because the New Rochelle police footage don't show the shooting. Once he's shot, they show him laying there and his hands are free. Like, I mean, there's nothing in his hands. You know what I'm saying? Like, if
they turned his body over to try to find the gun. Like he had time to hide the gun. He didn't have time to do nothing.
Right.
So,
wow,
it's all just a clear case of the cops trying to cover their behind as usual.
My brother, my brother Damon, he was saying in the beginning before you got on, he was offering his condolences and said that he will be more involved in some of the upcoming rallies and stuff. He was either out of town and couldn't make it to the first ones. You know what I'm saying? But he said you will see him in some of the future ones.
We appreciate that. We need as much people out there.
Oh, absolutely.
And like I said, we're gonna be rallying on National Night Out on Tuesday at 6 p.m. in front of the New Rochelle Police Station. And this is an event that all the police, I'm sure you guys are familiar with, all the police stations throughout the nation try to show how their community related, or how well they get along with the community. And we are totally against what they're saying, because they're not doing that. Their community relations didn't happen when it was time for my family,
Right.
So I think this is a good night to do it, because that's when a lot of people that support the police is going to be out there. And a lot of people really don't know about this situation. It's amazing. I talk to people every day, and people still don't know about it. So, because a lot of people don't watch the news.
We were at the route. We were at the thing in White Plains the other day, and I was sitting in the back after I spoke on your cooler, and at least 5 people walked up to me and asked me, "What was this about?" And I was explaining. They was like, one person said, "Oh, I think I heard something about it." The rest of them didn't know nothing about it. You know what I'm saying? And like they had heard nothing about it until when I told. Yeah.
It's amazing how many people don't watch the news, or how many people is not on social media. So we need more people having conversations in general at work, or at the gas station, wherever you see somebody else and you can have a conversation, talk about it,
I'm glad to see more coverage. NBC seems to be doing some decent coverage. Pix 11 was doing some decent coverage, and I've seen it on CBS and several other stations in addition to News 12 and Aloha. I was trying to find a video. At this time, I'm the vice president of the Mount Vernon NAACP, and I had got a statement from the Mid Hudson Westchester Regional Director, and at this time, I just want to take a minute and read that for those who haven't seen the video yet or whatever. So on Tuesday, July 25th, New York State Attorney Letitia James released redacted body footage of the killing of Jarrel Garrett, an unarmed Black man, by the New Rochelle Police by New Rochelle Police Detective Stephen Kahn earlier this month. NAACP Mid Hudson Valley Regional Director Wilbur Aldridge reacted to the newly released footage with the following statement. And this is his statement. "I am disturbed and disgusted by the sheer brutality and lack of humanity on display in the footage released Tuesday. No person should ever be subjected to such violence. To be killed over a few pieces of fruit is unacceptable. These videos are a sharp reminder that in America, on any day of the week, a Black person can be shot at, or killed by those who are supposedly here to serve and protect our communities. Now that the redacted footage has been released, how much more bloodshed will it take before New York State Attorney General's office acts? How much more trauma and tragedy must the Black community experience in order to spark real change? The police officers involved should have been expeditiously charged, but that still is far from enough to ensure justice for Jarrel. This is the second Black man killed since the murder of George Floyd, and this is also at least the second mentally challenged individual killed by the New Rochelle Police Department, the other being Samuel Cruz in 2014. In Westchester, the Project Alliance initiative incorporates mobile response team partnered with local police departments to provide 24-hour mobile behavioral health crisis support. New Rochelle was one of the first municipalities to opt in. We demand an explanation from the city manager and the police department as to why the New Rochelle Police Department did not utilize these services on this call. We need action to ensure that no one must ever experience or witness this kind of violence at the hands of law enforcement again. We have waited far too long for meaningful federal legislation from Congress. In the meantime, many more Black lives have been lost at the hand of police officers. On July 3rd, 2023, the day before this country celebrated its independence, New Rochelle police officers responded to a mentally challenged individual who allegedly ate some fruit without paying for it and was brutally shot in front of the church he was once baptized in. The 3 officers have been placed on administrative leave, a paid vacation. But true justice requires more accountability. We demand New York State Attorney General indict and convict Detective Stephen Kahn of the killing of Jarrel Garris. We demand New York State Governor Kathy Hochul take swift action by passing legislation on police reform to end the horrors of police brutality and the reform of criminal justice system that fails to properly hold law enforcement officials accountable. Your continued failure to act has left Jarrel's blood and the blood of countless other Black lives in New York State claimed by the police on your hands. Get up and do something. We're done dying. And that's from, again, that's the statement released by NAACP Mid-Hudson Valley / Westchester Regional Director Wilbur Aldridge. So, I read that at the rally in White Plains. I had just got it. It got approved, through the state and everything. And I got approved to read it at the rally that night. So I just wanted to share it. I wanted to load the video of me saying it, so I had to say it all, but I ain't had time to load the video. So I just read it all over again. Damon, any thoughts?
You got to get on the city manager.
Right.
You got to stay on the city manager. The city manager is the actual one that runs the city. So you got to stay on him and make sure that the policies, what were their policies, and did they follow policies? Especially when the guy called. Because knowing that they opt in and they didn't use it for that situation, they have to explain why. They got to explain to your family why. And it has to be, and it really has to be, clear. And you want to know the policy. You tell the city manager to turn over the policy.
And what policy is that? The procedure after procedure to call
Project Alliance, right? Exactly. You want to know what is the department's policy in using Project Alliance, right? Now, Dira already said they used it 77 times, and you said they used it after they killed your cousin. So what was the policy?
Why
because
wasn't it used?
It seemed to work 77 times before your cousin, and clearly it worked after your cousin, right? So what did they do right with those situations that they didn't do with your cousin?
I'd like to know the racial makeup of the 77 because, They
Oh, that too.
when you're black or brown, especially black, it's like shoot first. You're feared for your life, and when we see mass murderers, white mass murderers that shot up clubs and parks and everything else, and schools, armed with automatic weapons. Unless they kill themselves, they're always apprehended and taken to jail. You know what I'm saying? And some of them have shot at cops, and they have been apprehended and taken to jail when unarmed black people are killed. So I would like to know. I think we need to find out what the makeup of that 77 was. Like, how many of those were black people? Because there's definitely a different standard when it's not somebody who looks like us.
You are correct, and that's one of the problems that we have is that they they use it when they want to use it, and then when they get to people of color, what are they doing? So what's the criteria for them to say, okay, we're going to call the crisis unit, we're not going to call the crisis, but the police in general, the way they respond to the things, and if they don't have if they're not skilled enough to, so a friend of mine consistently stating that the police need to be able to not have guns. If you're dealing with a person that doesn't have a gun, why don't they have like some type of martial arts training so that they could take down people with their hands? Why does it have to be a weapon all the time, like a taser or a gun or something, a mace? They should be trained in tactical measures to be able to use their hands to take down people.
Damon's laughing because he's been stating that Damon works in corrections. He's about to retire after 33 years. At any given point, he can be in a room with 60 inmates, and he has to be able to talk down and de-escalate the situation. He ain't got no gun in there.
So here's the deal, man. Police are not taught. They just not taught, right? They're taught that they're pepper spray. There a lot of them now. There are some there are some cops that would give you the business, right, and take you down. But the culture, right? The culture is to go for here. The culture. Oh, he had a knife. I'm like, so what? He had a knife. Take the knife from him.
Take it from him.
It's 3 of y'all and 1 of him. So what did you shoot him for? Right? Take the knife. But see, it's the mindset. Now, when Westchester County when they had their police reform task force, one of the recommendations that came out of the police, along with Project Alliance, they came out that police officers in the academy had to come into the jail for 2 weeks and learn how to de-escalate situations, because we don't have none of that, right? So you got one CO with 60 inmates and they start acting crazy. You got to learn how to de-escalate that, but
so the corrections officers got better training than the police on the street.
Exactly, and we get paid $30,000 less, right? So that's
terrible. That's terrible. But you're in a more dangerous situation theoretically because you don't have a weapon. But they shouldn't be released on the streets with at least the same amount of training as you, if not more.
Exactly. Well, I mean that has been our argument, and they did make that recommendation, and I was texting Legislator Damon Marr today, and I, he said, well, we need COs in New Rochelle. I said, no, what you need to do is follow your recommendations that the county put out for these for these young guys and girls to come up in the jail for 2 weeks and learn how to do the verbal judo, learn how to de-escalate, and not even to mention police are not trained and deal with the mentally ill. That's why you have Project Alliance. But my whole thing is this: corrections, we got 750 officers. So how do they train? How did the corrections train 750 officers, right, on supervision of mental health, de-escalation of mental health every year. And the police department with 200 officers can't do it?
They get it one time at the academy. Yeah, they get it at the academy, and then they release them to the streets.
Right, but see, because they don't want to do it. Like at some point in time, right, we got to recognize and we got to get on these elected officials. If this police chief or this commissioner works at the will of the mayor or the city
manager
or the city manager, right, then guess what? If he's not going to implement these things in yearly training, then somebody's going to have to go, right? Either he's going to go or you're going to go. See, but we keep, and I was saying before, when you got on, brother, you know, even with Kenny Chamberlain, we protest and we honor his death every year, but the same mayor's in office, right? The same mayor's in office. One of the city council people became a county legislator. Why are we voting for them? If they're not doing what they're supposed to do as elected official, why are we as Black people voting for them in Westchester County? We continue to do that. Every city right now, every major city has had a major shooting. And not one elected official's lost their election because of that shooting. Think about that. Black folks ran to the voting booth and voted for the same dude or the same female.
If we voted at all is the problem, but
if we voted at all.
Well, that's true, but majority of the time they won. So I mean, at the end of the day, we could march, we could rally, right? It's two things that they scared of, right? Not spending our money, protesting through boycotting, and voting their behinds out of office. Those are the two things that really scared him.
We had on our show several times, rest in peace, the Honorable Minister Hafiz Muhammad was the student minister of Mosque Number 7. And he always said, like, when we go back, we talk about marching change legislation. And he said, now we just march and we do all these things, and there's no more these things or else. What is the or else? If you don't give us these things, what is the or else? We're gonna stop spending our money. We're gonna stop. What's the or else? And if there's no or else, we go back to business as usual. And that's what happens. And that's why they don't have to change that, because there's never an or else. And we have to keep that in mind. Whether it's one sister, I think her name was Sharon Foots. I think she was like, "Yo, all the development that's going blocking that off, but they can't build. You have to stop their money. Like losing money is all they care about. Losing money is what they care about, and we spend over $3 trillion a year as Black people. If we stop spending our money, we get their attention. In Atlanta, the Hispanics, they were talking about the Hispanics down there. So they said, "Oh, okay, we'll show you. We ain't gonna go to work today." Yo, Atlanta almost shut down. Like,
that's the difference. And you see who you spoke about. You said the Latino community. They are sticking together. We are not sticking together, and that's our problem. That we can't even get people to come out and march to save their children's lives. So how they gonna? How can we get people to stick together to not spend their money? You know what I'm saying?
We were joking, like McDonald's ain't never worried about y'all boycotting McDonald's, because they know Black people is addicted to the French fries, and Black people always gonna get them French fries, and there ain't no big group of people ever gonna boycott like a McDonald's. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can't get. We've called for a boycott of McDonald's before, like statewide. Mm-hmm. That didn't happen. They wasn't even worried about us.
We don't stick together, so that's why nobody's worried about us as a threat. The politicians, anybody, nobody's looking at us as a threat. The Black community, we spend the most money, and everybody else is living off us. They come to our communities, and take our money and take wherever else they're going, and we don't stand up for ourselves in no way, shape, or form. It's terrible. We won't stick together. So we could talk about it, but we got to find ways to 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 make the unity. We got to start with some more unity. I definitely believe that.
So I wanted to change this up just briefly up to the store. So the store, the family representative that went to the store, and the store owner at one point agreed to stay close until there was a meeting and an understanding with the family to see what the family wanted. And some pastors and everybody came through, and it's kind of like they greenlit the store opening, and a press release went out to the press. I got it. Basically making it seem like everything was all good, but there was no mention of how the family felt about that. And I pushed back a little bit in my editorial. That wasn't the case.
Well, we understand that some clergy members from the city of New Rochelle, and also some politicians from the city of New Rochelle, met with the store owner and gave them their support for him to reopen. So regardless of whatever contingencies he was talking about doing with us, they superseded that.
The reason I bring that up is this was a situation where, because you're not going to get a lot of store owners to agree to something like that, and then the family was going to bring some demands that they had, and the store owner, and there was going to be some kind of negotiation, but the negotiation was taken away from the family when the store was allowed to open without meeting with the family. Now the family met with him later that day, but he was still open. You know what I'm saying? And it was like now
he wasn't willing to give. He wasn't willing to do. He was supposed to hire a number of people from the neighborhood, and he was supposed to hire security people from the neighborhood. But he went and hired an outside security firm, an armed security at that, in the store, and he had a couple of his fellow store owners with him, and they were suggested to him, well, maybe you should hire some security guards from this neighborhood, and he was only trying to give the family maybe $1,000, if that. They was like, maybe you need to give him more money than that. He wasn't trying to do nothing, so he at the least should have offered to pay for the funeral. The city of New Rochelle should have offered to pay for the funeral. These are things that they don't do. They don't have no decency, the city of New Rochelle, but that's part of them not admitting to their guilt. If they paid for the funeral, that would be admitting that they had some wrongdoing in the situation.
Right. Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And then the other thing is, we don't know. I don't know personally. Whatever agreements that we might have made with the store owner might have been contradictory, or it might not have been helpful to a civil suit if we have one later against the store. It didn't work out.
So I did see, and I'm not praying for the demise of the store owner, but I did see and a report this week, the end of this past week, they interviewed the store owner, and he was like, businesses are down at least 50%. So I'm like, yo, that's one way to speak with your dollars. And not just the death store. If New Rochelle police is not doing something, y'all need to speak with your dollars in other ways too. Y'all need to get together and figure out how y'all going to do and speak. Because until you hurt their pocket, they're not going to pay attention to you. Until you come out in numbers and vote them out, they're not going to pay attention to you. You know what I'm saying? So, something, our dollars speak volumes. And we have to understand that.
Our dollars speak volume, but we don't speak with them. Like I said, for us to have a united front to boycott that store, it was amazing when we was in front of the store, the amount of people of color that came to the store to try to support the store. And like I said, they didn't know what was going on. Once we told them what was going on, they was disgusted. But a lot of people just don't know what's going on. And a lot of people don't care. They're going to, oh, I'm not going to 5 miles away to another store. This store is convenient for me. So one of the things we was trying to do while we was asking for the store to be closed was we was trying to give an alternative. We was offering people rides at T-Town or Stop and Shop because we created that problem. We didn't want our elders or people that might have not been able, don't drive or whatever, being able to get to the stuff they need because we want the store to be closed, but we also want people to have what they needed.
Right.
So you can't cause a problem without offering a solution.
Right.
But
Right.
like I said, it's the amount of people that know what's going on is amazing. That the amount of people that don't know what's going on, but in order for us as people of color to stick together, I don't know what it's gonna take. You know.
I want to say something to you, my brother. And one of the things I love about Kenneth Chamberlain is he won't stop fighting. A lot of times in these cases, the attorney general does some kind of review or investigation. A lot of times he comes back with either no true bill or the grand jury doesn't indict, and the average person thinks the fight is over. And I hope that doesn't happen here. But if that does, I want to encourage y'all to continue to fight because there's a lot more fighting after that. That is not the end of the fight, even if you get that kind of decision from the AG. That's what I haven't seen her. This current AG, I haven't seen her do anything in any of these cases yet. So hopefully, maybe maybe
So
maybe she might do the right thing. Maybe she might do the right thing. But if she doesn't, I want to encourage y'all that even though y'all will be discouraged, not to give up fighting because that is not the end of the fight and there's still a lot more fighting to do. And definitely consult with brothers like Kenneth Chamberlain, who has been fighting for like 12 or 13 years, who can tell you what next steps can be. You know what I'm saying? And it may be discouraging, but there's still, a lot of people give up at that point,
Yeah. So that's probably a conversation I will have with Ken. What's the next thing to do if the AG doesn't return an indictment? Or how do we proceed to get somebody to indict this person? Because the New Rochelle district attorney could indict them technically, right?
Well, the way the former governor made it that if there's a death at the hands of the police, the AG is now the special prosecutor or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So, it was in the Westchester DA's hand up until the point that Jarrel died. You know what I'm saying? Because the Westchester DA was on it, and then once he officially passed, the investigation went to the AG's office.
Okay.
But there's a couple of things I want to say. I said this the other night. The 3 cops are on administrative leave with pay. Yo, if your boss and I want everybody else that didn't hear me that night to hear, if your boss told you to stay home for 3 weeks but was going to pay you, would you look at that as a punishment?
Not at all. You would say, I'm gonna do it again.
And neither do these cops. That's just a paid vacation. And you have to push with your city council who makes your legislation that in these situations the officer is suspended without pay. Let them fight for their pay if they're vindicated and all that later. You know what I'm saying? But immediately they should be suspended without pay. You know what I'm saying? I think that would speak a whole lot more volume than administrative leave with pay. So you're sitting at home, you might have this cloud over you, but you're getting a check though. Dude,
the rule of thumb is that they suspend you with pay if they're going to build a case against you. Because see, if they suspend you without pay, New York State civil service laws, if they suspend them and if they suspend them during the investigation, they have to bring them back in 30 days, right? So the rule of thumb is you suspend with pay the time that you're going through the investigation. And then if there's any charges you're going to bring any departmental charges for violating policy, procedure, and training, then you bring the charges, and then the clock starts there. You know, that's this. You know, I mean, it's no special treatment. That's just civil service, right? That's just New York State civil service, and so that's usually why they do it. You know, I mean, the situation with the two correction officers that let the inmate
Escape,
yeah,
and Yonkers.
they're suspended with pay, you know, because the department is trying to build a case to let them go, right? Or if it's a possibility to let them go, or whatever they're going to do with departmental charges. So that's why I think it's clear, you know, for the family that's involved to really push what is the policies. You want the policies, right? You want copies of the policy, right? Not just tell them you want, and they just can't say they can't do it because of investigation. It's departmental policy. It should be public anyway because it's paid by the taxpayers, right? Or your lawyers are going to probably have to foil it. But you want to know what's the policy, right? Reach out to Project Alliance in the county, right? What are the agreements between Project Alliance and these municipalities, right? Usually it's probably the same damn agreement. It's most likely because we're civil service. We're fucking lazy, right? So it's usually the same. I'm just being honest, bro. It's usually the same policy, right? That's why I always say if one police department is messed up, every police department in Westchester County is messed up because they all use the same policies. It's like copy and paste. It's like a whole bunch of kids in the same class copying off each other. They all got the same answers.
And they all get trained. And they all get trained by the county.
They all get trained by Westchester County Police Academy. So I mean, it's nothing new under the sun. So the whole thing is those are the questions that your lawyer and the family have to ask these people, you know, and you don't want to hear from the commissioner or the chief, well, we really can't talk about that. There's an investigation. No, we want the policies. The policies should have been in place before this incident happened, and the policies probably around the incident. So now, if they used it for this other girl, then what went wrong? What went wrong? You know, other than the obvious, she was white. She was a white woman. He was a black man. So you use it for white people.
Or the officer that responded.
Exactly.
The difference is the officer that responded. And
I'm talking about from the 911 call.
Okay.
If he said what he said to the dispatcher, Project Alliance was supposed to have been called immediately.
Mm-hmm.
They were supposed to have been called immediately. If he said that, man, I think this guy got some type of problems or something. Right? They were supposed to have been called immediately because police are not trained
to deal with
mental crisis. They're not trained.
And
that's why Project Alliance is there. I mean, she did it the best she could until the fool ran in with the foolishness. But at the end of the day, they're not trained unless they gave her special training. Right. So if he called it, you get the 911 call. So then if they didn't call, so the next question is you got to ask these two female officers, were you trained to deal with mentally ill people? Were you trained? Right. What training did you have? Did you have it in the academy? Did they give you yearly training? And they were probably most likely going to say no. You know, but they responded. But so why would you send two officers that are not trained to a situation that the 911 call said they think something's wrong with the guy? These are the questions that the police are going to have to answer. Those are the things you want answered. Whether it's in writing or whatever, but those are the things you want answered. And the AG is going to have to answer those questions.
I don't mean to sound ignorant, but how do we ask them this? You know what I'm saying? I can ask them this in a conversation, but we want this in writing.
Have your lawyer, put the letter together with those questions, right? Have a press conference and you drop the motherfuckers off. That these are the questions we want answered as the family.
And you got an attorney that's who knows his way around, who's been around the block a few times. William Wagstaff, he'll know what to do. If y'all make that, you know what I'm saying? That's what y'all want. He knows how to. Y'all are in decent hands. This is not his first case like this. You know what I'm saying? So, he does know what to do. I mean, you know, y'all say, but stay on top of that too.
From a law enforcement perspective, those are the questions that need to be answered, right? Now, he could put them in his legal perspective, but from a law enforcement perspective, from a policy and procedure and a training perspective, those are the questions that the family should want answered. Not just from the city, but from the Attorney General.
And as far as the city concerned, the family and the residents can continue to do what y'all did at that city council meeting, continue to come up there every city council meeting and demand answers from the city, which includes the police department and the city government. Demand answers and continue to fill that room like y'all did that day and continue to demand those answers. That's another way y'all can do it too.
Yeah, the city council meetings, even though you can ask questions, they don't respond to the questions. So you have to put them. I guess you got to submit it in writing. And I don't know how that procedure works. That was my first time going to that one. So they were saying that they couldn't reply to what was being said to them. But if you submit it in writing, they would address it, I think, at the next meeting or something to that extent.
So Brother Damon has gone to the Mount Vernon City Council a few times, and he is gone, and he's like, I've come here meeting after meeting and demanding answers, and I've yet to hear a response to my answers, to my questions. We have not got no answers. We still demanding. You got to continue demanding answers. You understand what I'm saying? Like, until y'all get it in some form, whether they do it in a press conference or however they release it, y'all have to keep demanding, and the community has to come out like they did that night, and they have to continue to come out and continue to come out and continue to demand answers. People get nervous around election time. They got an election coming up. These people might have won a primary. They still got an election to deal with in November. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, some of them people's seats is on the line. You know what I mean? That's a good time to get their attention. And I like that y'all are going out and the National Night Out. I think that is incredible because all attention is going to be there.
Yo, that's dope.
Yeah, that is dope. And they need to come out, and y'all need to come out in numbers. Anyone who can hear me now, and anybody who watches this video later, New Rochelle and all local activists need to come join the family and the community and come out in big numbers that day. They're gonna be there. They got to be out. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna all be there. So I think that's such a dope idea. I haven't heard about that happening in a lot of other cities when these situations happen. So I'm glad to hear that.
No, that's dope. That's dope. That's gonna be an interesting
dynamic
National night out. I never seen that before.
I know. I just was walking and I seen the sign and I said, "Yo, that's when we're gonna do it." We didn't know when we was gonna do the next meeting, but I said National Night Out. That's when they're gonna have all their support. You know what I mean? So we need to let their supporters know how we feel.
And they're gonna be press out there covering their night out and all that. You're gonna have all of that there.
Well, I got through this situation. You know, we got good contact with the press, so they usually come out when we call them and tell them that we're doing something. And they contact me on a regular basis and ask me, what are we doing next? So, and I try to keep them abreast.
Absolutely. As soon as y'all get a flyer for that, if y'all have a flyer for that night.
It should be one tonight. It should be one. It should be one. We're in the process of making one right now.
As soon as y'all get it,
it should be on social media tonight.
Yeah, make sure you send it to me, and Black Westchester will share it all over our networks too. So, you know.
I sent just a post out to you earlier today, but it will be a flyer made for that too.
Right. Any last word for the family, Damon?
I'm definitely gonna try to get down and support y'all. But man, I'm praying for y'all as always. And whatever we could do with Black Westchester, man, just let us know.
All right. Thank you very much for your support. And we're gonna give y'all guys the opportunity to have full interviews with us. And when we met with the Attorney General, shortly after that, we met with, I think, CBS News or whatever channel for us.
NBC.
And they
NBC.
cut NBC. They cut the interviews, and there was a lot of good stuff that was said at the interviews. There was a lot of good stuff at the press conference. So we want you to tape everything, and you give full coverage of what we're saying and what we need to be said.
Absolutely, brother. Absolutely, man. You got our support 100%.
Any last words you got for the people that you want to tell the audience?
Thank you very much. You guys enjoy the rest of the country.
All right.
Me personally, just come out on Tuesday. You know, we need the support. That's it.
We got you, my brother. We ain't going nowhere.
All right. Thank y'all very much. Y'all enjoy your Sunday.
Doubt. You too, my brother.
All right, brother. You got it.
Peace.
Yeah, I definitely wanted to invite him to the conversation. To have the conversation is one thing, but you can have one of the family members on there. We always try to bring somebody so you can hear from them. I can tell you how they feel, and I can tell you what they're thinking, but when you can bring one of the family members on to speak for themselves, it's always good for the conversation.
Yeah. But I mean, you know, he went into, and that's great. He went into the conversation that I wanted to discuss, right? So in my article, exposing an inequity, the struggle for Westchester County correction officers, higher standards and less pay is slavery. So he basically made my case, right? To the fact that we're trained to deal with the mentally ill. We're trained to diffuse mental crisis. We're trained to how to diffuse situations, especially mentally ill, because of the shortage of mental health facilities in New York State, which people do not talk about. The local jail has been the asylum for a lot of people. So, you know, we don't have that conversation because for some reason, those that are in charge of delivering the message don't want to have that conversation. How we have been dealing with the mentally ill for decades. It was the jails. It was the local lockups, the facilities, was the jails that were the mental ill facilities. And I'm telling you, if you look at a lot of the, well, I mean, brother Patty Duke, that is the ecosystem, right? They use police and they use jails to solve social problems. You know, and now that they have bail reform, they didn't tweak the ecosystem, because now you have a whole bunch of mentally ill people out on the street when they used to come to jail and get their medication and get 3 hots in the cot, you know, and be able to go to a psychiatrist and be able to do all those things. They're not doing that now because they're not going to jail. So we have to, we oh yeah, I wrote that a long time ago. Yeah. Yeah, I even forgot I wrote that. Closing mental health facility. Yeah, man. So I mean, click on that article. I talked about it years ago. That's an old article, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and to the fact that we are sitting here in Westchester County, where correction officers have higher standards and less pay than their counterparts, the county PD. And I submit to you, the historical problem is because Westchester County Department of Correction has been historically black and brown and historically black men. According to the county's own report, the African American Advisory Board report in 1992 to then county exec Andrew O'Rourke. The Westchester County Department of Corrections in 1992 employed more black men than any civil service department in Westchester County. Between the Westchester County Jail and General Motors, they employed black men. That was it. So we have a historic context. We have a historic context on the employment of black men in the county jail, and we also have a historic content of Westchester County Police being majority white male. County Legislator Christopher Johnson, is he former or is he? What is he? Anyway, County Legislator Christopher Johnson had the data.
I think he stepped down. I think he officially stepped down.
Former County Legislator Christopher Johnson had the data. Before George Floyd, they were over close to 80% white male county police. So the question is this: how can Westchester County Department of Corrections have national accreditation and is hold to higher standards and make $30,000 less? Actually, $40,000 less. Well, $30,000 to $40,000 less. They're just they're just making the recommendation in 2021, 2022 that county police should be nationally accredited by CALEA. And that is the body. Let me get the right words for y'all, because I know there's.
While you're looking that up, Christopher Johnson handed in his resignation is effective August 1st. So yes, for a couple more days, he is still the county legislator up. His resignation goes in effect August 1st. I just want to get the facts out there. So
okay, yeah, it's called for everybody that's watching. It's called the Commission on Accreditation of Law Enforcement Agencies. That's the body you go to get national accreditation. And for corrections, it's the ACA, the American Correctional Association. That's the body you go to go get national accreditation. Now, national accreditation is higher than state minimum standards. I got to give y'all an education, because when we talk about this, because you get a lot of these police guys say, man, we run our department by national minimum standards. But remember, you're doing it to the minimum standards.
State minimum. Yeah.
Right, the state minimum standards. Right? National accreditation, minimum standards here. National accreditation is here. Right? So corrections is nationally accredited. Corrections been nationally accredited for probably about 15 years. I've been married 13 years. Yeah, maybe more than that. Maybe 20. So how do they still make less money than county police?
And most police departments in Westchester are not nationally accredited, right?
No, there's only one, and that's Scarsdale Police Department.
Scarsdale, wow.
Scarsdale Police Department, the last time I looked, and anybody can go. Let me try to bring this up, man. Anybody can go on the website. Don't take my word for it. Who am I? You know, I'm just a nobody. Anybody can go on the website, right? You got the website right here, Kalia, and I believe you could do a search somewhere around here, client database, I believe, right? So let's look. Country,
Okay.
U.S., state, New York. Let's submit, see what happens. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Let's see if Westchester County's here. Oh, look, the attorney generals have national accreditation. Uh-oh. Oh, wait, Dobbs Ferry got it.
Dobbs Ferry.
Oh, go ahead, Dobbs. Syracuse, New York City Police Department. Oh, Scarsdale don't have it no more? Oh, wait, there we go. Scarsdale. No Westchester County. Ain't that something?
So out of 43 municipalities in Westchester County, you have Dobbs Ferry and Scarsdale.
Yep, two.
Out of 42.
Out of 43, you got out of 43, you got two. So Scarsdale is usually one of the highest, I guess. I never looked to see how much the other police department makes, but still. So what is the reason? What is the reason why does corrections make less money? And the recommendations from the county is that they have to come into the jail and do. That's crazy. When the county says that police officers should come into the jail and learn de-escalation from correction officers on the block, but those officers that are learning from those officers will be making more money than them. Probably, yeah. I think every police department should be nationally accredited. And I used to know a recruiter from Dallas. They used to come up to New York to recruit police officers. If you was from a department that was nationally accredited, if you went to Dallas, you didn't have to go through the academy. But if you came from a department that wasn't nationally accredited, they didn't trust when you was trained, right? So you had to go through the academy.
Wow.
So my whole thing is this: if the county talks about equity and they love to say how exactly is it? Well, it goes back to the whole adage, but they love to say how Black people are rising up to the top. But we're being held at higher standards, and we're not getting the same amount of pay as our majority white counterparts, and that's a slap in the face and an insult, because throughout COVID we had to go inside where other people did not have to go inside, and neither did our counterparts at county police department. They could just sit on the highway. They had nothing to do. The highways were shut down. Well, what were they actually doing? Was nobody on the highway? But we had to get on the highway, and we had to stay in that facility majority time 16 hours a day. And we don't get the same respect as other law enforcement agencies here in Westchester County. And I dare any police officer to take off his belt, take his gun off and his taser, and come at me on the block. Come with me on the block. And someone act out, and then lock them in and tell me how you going to do when you ain't got the gun and the badge. It's already proven in reports, but we don't get the same pay. Westchester County should be ashamed of themselves. And we can't leave it up to, as my brother from another mother, King Genius, says, oh, well, it's union stuff. Nah, man, it's out of respect, bro. It's out of respect. You got to pay what you owe. And let me tell you, and you're going to have a harder time getting people to come at that pay scale. You're going to be just like Mount Vernon. Well, it's like Mount Vernon because nobody wants, look, you got all the other police departments around 120, 130. You got NYPD at 130. You got New York City Corrections right under NYPD. What's the point of coming to Westchester County and work as a correction officer? When I got all these high-paying jobs around me if I want to be in law enforcement. And this is why you're having problems with some of the new hirees now. You scraping the bottom of the bunch, bro. And we have a job that deals with life and death at any given moment. You don't want to scrape the bottom of the bunch just to say you got some numbers in there, and then you wonder why they don't come to work. Because it's who you hiring. And not only that, you ain't paying nothing. So we got to move. So we have to move forward. And we have to show respect. You can't tell us that we're the best of the best, and you pay us the worst of the worst. You can't tell correction officers that, Westchester County. That's not good, and it's very disrespectful. You can't ask from us what you don't ask from our white counterparts on the other side of the line at county police. That's hypocrisy and that's racism. I call it. It is what it is. I've been there 33 years. And I never seen the most disrespect to a group of people have I ever seen in my 33 years of working for a department. It's really atrocious. But who am I? So I just wanted to say that, man. Like y'all could read the article. I think with the work that the correction officers do and the training that they have to take and accountability measures that they have in place there that they don't even have in these other law enforcement agencies, they need to get paid more than what they're paying. And the union needs to inform the public of what's going on. When it comes to the rights and benefits of correction officers, ain't no friendship. Ain't no friendship. Your duty is to them bylaws. And them bylaws say you're supposed to fight for the rights and benefits of your members. See, and I could say that, right? Because I was on, and if y'all don't believe me, ask your commissioner. I was on the contract negotiation team that made us the highest paid in Westchester County. What happened? What happened? I was there. Ask your commissioner. He was the president of the union. I was there. So what happened to that? And the fact of the matter is, every benefit we got, the one that's negotiating the contract, your commissioner was the president that negotiated it. What's going on? We haven't got nothing new. Absolutely nothing new. So, I mean, come on, man. Call it what it is. At this point, we haven't received anything from the county for being nationally accredited for over 15 years. We haven't received nothing. And they're just asking county police to do it, to do what we've been doing for over 15 years? Are you kidding me? And then they want to send a crybaby letter to the county legislators when the recommendation comes out that they got to come into the jail for 2 weeks to learn de-escalation. They want to send a crybaby letter. And we still don't stand up. Some of your correction officers got to stop. Listen, if you're going to be a cop, quit, be a cop. But if you're going to be a correction officer, stand on your goddamn feet and represent your department, man. Enough. Just stop being a little wuss. And stop wanting to be, oh, we don't want the police to get mad at us. They don't get, listen, I'm married to a cop. They don't give a fuck about you anyway.
We've had people say that corrections wasn't law enforcement.
Exactly. They don't even, some of them don't even look at you as law enforcement. And you worried about what these damn cops think about you. It's 790 of us, man. Start acting like we got the numbers. What is wrong with y'all? See, I'm out of here, man. And it's sad that the mindset that's in that department right now, that they don't carry themselves and respect themselves for the job that they do and go out here and make people respect them. I get respect everywhere I go. I walk in the doors. I don't need to be a union president or any position. Just a little old officer. But I walk in the doors. Imagine 700 doing that. Respect yourself.
Even if you had half, you had 350. So if you had 200, like, yo, that's numbers, like, yo.
Yo, if you had
everybody ain't gonna do it. Everybody
if you
ain't
had
gonna do it.
just 10. You had 10. No, yo, what was the thing in the Bible with Sodom and Gomorrah? He said, yo, go back and find one.
Right.
And I won't destroy the city, right? And he went back and said, I can't even find one. Then God brought his wrath down. Come on, man. Y'all got to get together, man. This is what they call it, apologia. My apologia speech. Y'all got to get it together. You trying to tell me police departments are $40,000 a head? And they not even nationally accredited? You got to be kidding me. We got to get it right.
So departments is $40,000, $40,000 a head in salary. Y'all still get paid more than Mount Vernon Police Department.
Well, here's the thing. I get paid more in Mount Vernon Police Department. But the new hirees after 2012 make the same as Mount Vernon Police Department.
Oh, damn.
That was the thing that Lonzo West sold them out, and they made less money, $10,000 less, and then and foolish people voted for it. I didn't vote for it because I knew I had to stay here longer, But at the end of the day, there's a discrepancy because we are still held to higher standards than police departments. They say, "Oh man, well, you know what? The officers let a guy escape." Yeah, but compared to every major municipality shot an unarmed man, and ain't nobody saying nothing about that, huh? Nobody saying nothing about that. So let's just be honest. So you can't use none of that against us. Not when you compare it to police departments. But I just want to compare the county police and that, correct anybody that's watching, y'all gotta get it together, man. Y'all gotta get it together. That's all I got. That's all I gotta say, man.
All the topics we're talking about now, you can always catch and read for yourself on blackwestchester.com. Check the site daily, updated daily, always with the latest stories of what's going on. Find out the latest, what's going on with the Jarrel Garris case. Find out what's going on with everything else in Westchester. A couple other stories I wanted to give a shout out. We did a tribute. We did a tribute to did two tributes. One to Carol J. Morris. Rest in peace. She was the founder of the Mount Vernon Health Center. She just passed. I think her homegoing was yesterday. And the CBS reporter, what was her name again? Elise. Try to remember her name right now. Hold on. We did a tribute to her too. Oh, Elise Finch, Mount Vernon resident. She just had her home going too, so you can read about our tributes to the both of them, and everything else that's going on in the county. Try to keep you updated. Damon has a steady series on health and wellness, and the Black Love series. Usually this is the time of the month where he would normally have a Black Love series.
Yeah. Oh, big shout out to Nikki, man. She had a surgery.
Okay.
She was in the hospital, so sending my love to my sister Nikki Toy. Thank you. Once you get well, we'll be back with the Black Love series, talking about how we could reunite love between Black men and women and increase love and communication and understanding, not just between men and women, but within the Black community. So also tomorrow, 8 p.m., live on YouTube, Damon K. Jones. Check out the health mindset, the Monday mindset. And I believe we're talking about gratitude, how having gratitude can improve your health. Think y'all need to check that out, because a lot of walking around sick people because they want more than what God has blessed them with, and they're not thankful or have gratitude for the things that they have. Social media is one of the ways that have messed our minds up, and we are looking for more instead of being grateful and thankful for what God has blessed us here. That's what some of us men and women get into trouble. God blesses you with what you've been praying for with a man, and a couple of years later, you trying to find another man because you're not grateful for the man that you have. And men, it's the same way. God gives you a woman that's that's God fearing, and then you want to go out here and find one of these little internet Humpty Dumps. And sisters want to go out here and find one of these social media fools. After that man done suffered with you through all your problems. And 9 times out of 10, took care of kids that wasn't even his. And then you want to go get a social media fool. And then, brother, you want to go get a social media Humpty Dump. Because you're just not grateful for what the blessings that God gave you. Men and women. So check it out. Check it out, 8 o'clock, 8 p.m.
You still do your Meatless Monday things in the morning, or do you still do the Meatless Monday?
Nah, that took place in Meatless Monday.
Okay.
That took the Monday mindset took place in Meatless Monday. But also they could check out little videos I'm doing on YouTube called God is in Your Vegetable series, where I just show different food and health and wellness. So they could definitely check out that. And also, oh man, do I have I don't even have it. Thursday the 10th, we're doing the free comedy show at the library. Probably the first and the last, grand opening, grand closing. We're doing a free comedy. We're doing a free comedy show at the Mount Vernon Public Library. Doors open at 5:30. Please come through. It's free. Hopefully next Sunday, I'm gonna try to get the artists to come to come on and talk about it. That's gonna be something funny to have 3 comedians come on the show. But check it out. I'm trying to pull it up right now. So
Comedy Night Explosion, free event, Thursday, August 10th, 2023, Mount Vernon Public Library, 28 South 1st Avenue, Mount Vernon. Music by Big
Homie Jihad.
Doors open at 5:30 p.m. till 9. Showtime at 6:30 sharp. Yeah. And the 3 comedians is Chocolate Chai, Kenny Wu, and Rio Paris. And I'm gonna tell you, with all that's going on in our communities right now, we could use some laughter. Like we could really use, and laughter's good for your health too.
Yes. Absolutely, because we be all stressed out, and stress kills. Stress definitely kills. So we be all stressed out, chasing the foolishness of the world, right? And we get stressed out chasing foolishness. And then we get all messed up, and we get high blood pressure, high cholesterol, right? Our bodies produces chemicals that after a while it causes your body go into dis-ease. So laughter helps. Laughter helps, man. Laughter is a great remedy to depression and anxiety, right? And it also aids in your recovery and
very therapeutic. Very, very therapeutic.
Absolutely.
Good for the soul. Good for the soul. Good for the soul.
Man, that's it, brother. I'm done.
Yo, so yeah. So next month, look out for our anniversary issue. We're celebrating our anniversary. It is the 9-year anniversary of this radio show. It is the 9-year anniversary of Black Westchester Magazine, blackwestchester.com, and the 6-year anniversary of the Black Westchester newspaper. Celebrate with us. Still time to get your ads in. Hit us at blackwestchestermag@gmail.com. Also, if you want to do an ad on the show, hit us up, blackwestchester@gmail.com. Get all the information. Look out for my 2 books. I'm working on both my books now to get them finished. We got our own thing, a look at hip hop from the 914. Trying to get that out by mid-September, late September, early mid-October. And then I have the book on police brutality white people cannot comprehend the deadly consequences of being black, which is coming out between Thanksgiving and Christmas. So definitely look out for all those pre-orders for those books. Will be available soon. I'll be putting the word out. If you want to see us touch upon a topic, you want to comment on this show, you could always hit us at blackwestchester@gmail.com or leave a comment on the website, blackwestchester.com. That's it, man. I don't have too much more after that. Just, that's it. I don't really have too much more after that. I don't know.
Then that's it, brother.
That's it.
Peace out. Peace out, Cub Scouts.
Yeah, you could be doing anything else, but you decided to ride with us, and we greatly appreciate it. This has been Black Westchester Presents, the People Before Politics radio show. We are on every Sunday, 6 to 8. Every Sunday, 6 to 8 on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook. And I was just checking to make sure tomorrow is not first Monday. So, yeah, next week. We don't have VOX tomorrow. Tomorrow's 31st. The next Monday after that will be VOX. I was like, thank goodness. I thought I had to rush the news show tomorrow, WVOX. But that'll be next week. So, yeah, man, with that, we out of here.
Peace out.
See you next week.
22 million black victims of Americanism are waking up, and they're gaining a new political consciousness, becoming politically mature. And as they develop this political maturity, they're able to see the recent trends in these political elections. Any minority that has a block of votes that stick together is in a strategic position. Either way you go, that's who gets it. You're in a position to determine who go to the White House and who stay in the doghouse. You're the one who has that power. You and I have never seen democracy. All we've seen is hypocrisy. When we open our eyes today and look around America, we see America not through the eyes of someone who has enjoyed the fruits of Americanism. We see America through the eyes of someone who has been the victim of Americanism. We don't see any American dream. We've experienced only the American nightmare. We haven't benefited from America's democracy. We've only suffered from America's hypocrisy. And the generation that's coming up now can see it and are not afraid to say it. 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 And are not afraid to say it.
One last time, thank you for tuning in, and happy birthday again to my brother from another, Damon K. Jones, our brother Dr. Bob, to our sister Tasha Young, and everybody else celebrating birthdays now.